6 months before we moved up here, they had a really mild winter. They had about 6 inches of snow in town and about a foot up here. Now you can see on the hill across from our property, there's virtually no snow. It's almost all melted off. You can see on our hill there's still probably 6 or 8 inches, but it's melting off pretty fast. We may escape a bad winter, which I'd be okay with, because that'll give me time to get a jump on things and really get things. Fast forward, last year we still had about 3 feet of snow on the ground, so we know what's possible up here. But man, I'd be okay with it if we had a real mild winter. But I don't think we're quite out of the woods yet. We always end up having a couple more late storms, so we'll see what happens. If I only had my needs to worry about, I'd be living in a small cabin up here already. But because I'm trying to make this experience something that is not a painful experience, but hopefully something that my kids and my wife look forward to and we love, I'm trying to include the amenities like having 2 bathrooms, like having a laundry, like all of these things that are somewhat commonplace in most homes. We're trying to include this stuff in our home now. There still has to be some compromises because we just don't have the square footage that we've had in other homes, but I don't think we need it. A little small bathroom downstairs is no big deal. The things that are important to me is the simple fact that I can keep my kids warm, that I can put food on the table, and that we have a shelter overhead that is going to last. I don't want my kids to be embarrassed of what we're doing. I know the kids around town have asked about it. I know some of the kids in town have seen our YouTube channel. And I think when people hear the word off-grid, they assume that we shower on Christmas and that we're living hand to mouth. I think some of the television shows that have become popular in the last few years don't promote the best off-grid mentality. As a matter of fact, the Discovery Channel show Homestead Rescue, they've contacted us multiple times. In one scenario, they asked us if we would be willing to live in our camp trailer. This is back when we still had our camp trailer. They asked us if we'd be willing to live in the camp trailer to make it look like we were living up here. I watched the show and quickly figured out that wasn't something I wanted any part to do with, because they just don't portray the image that I'm trying to portray. They portray these desperate scenarios often with people that oftentimes don't seem to know what they're doing, and I don't want to be a part of that. So there's always going to be compromises, there's always going to be challenges living this way. I think the number one challenge we're going to have is the road, but we'll figure that out and we'll get through that. From that point on, I want everything up here to be associated with work. I want my kids to recognize what happens when you go out and plant a garden, and we've done that before. We've always had a garden. Stairs are done. I took the finished side and put it face down because I knew I was going to get the treads dirty. But everything's done. Everything's finished. I want my kids to be a part of the process, whether it's milking cows or milking goats. We haven't decided yet, but I'm leaning towards goats right now. I want my kids to be connected to their food. I want my kids to be connected to this lifestyle in a way that brings back very fond memories, not something that they look back on with negative feelings. I know there's going to be challenges living up here, but the juice should be worth the squeeze, and I know it can be. I've got a bad habit of getting about 90% finished with projects and then moving on to something more exciting. And I don't want that to happen with the framing. I've got just a little bit left, and then I can literally say I'm done with all of the framing. And I can focus exclusively on the plumbing, then the electrical, and then the drywall. because initially the downstairs was going to be a shop. When I roughed in the plumbing for this little bathroom, I did a tiny bathroom because I didn't want to waste a bunch of space down here for a big old bathroom. Now that we have changed the layout and concluded to make this the permanent house, I'm not sure how I feel about this little tiny bathroom. So what we have is a toilet that's barely far enough away from what's going to be a very small shower. I'll make the shower pan and everything on this. And then we'll have to have a pedestal sink right here in the corner. Now the only other option is an option I'm not willing to consider at this point in time, but I could scoot the window down, or I could frame the window in with the bathroom, which really I don't want to do either one of those options. I need to probably talk it over with the wife a little bit. It's barely going to meet code as far as distances from shower, and I'll have to do an offset flange on that probably to make it work. But I can live with this. You know, like I said, I don't spend a whole lot of time in bathrooms if I can help it. But the boss is the one that's got to make the decision. Cedar's the one that's got to make that decision and help me feel good with it. So she'll come up tomorrow and help me. And then tomorrow I'll finish framing in the pantry, which is going to be under the stairs. Stairs turned out good. I'm happy with them. I ended up putting all of the treads upside down because I knew they were going to get dirty. Obviously you can see it needs to be trimmed in some spots, and I didn't even care enough to trim it right now because I knew I was going to pull it back up when I got serious with finishing the wood. But we got to talk about this, make sure that we can live with it. But again, I'm okay with it. I don't want my kids spending any more time in the bathroom than they have to. And to have a toilet and a shower and a sink in one bathroom is sufficient for me. But we'll see what Cedar says.